Okay, our last speaker today is Skip Daniels, and he's going to be talking about squeezing the most out of Python. And Skip currently serves as a GIS software developer for Map Forsyth City County Geographic Information Office in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Some of his duties include automating GIS processes, developing GIS applications for the web and Windows desktops. And prior to this position, Skip was a software developer for the MIS department and paramedic for Forsyth County. Skip holds a BS/BA in Computer Information Systems and a BS in Emergency Medical Care from Western Carolina University. He also holds certifications in Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, Cisco Certified Network Associate, and CompTIA A+.
That's a lot of junk. Dang, clap for a bio. Can I quit? Can we leave? Dang. Alrighty. Squeezing the most out of Python. This presentation, the colleague before us right there, we're really good into Python language and everything. I'm going to open your minds of what you can do with Python. Just to give you some good examples. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when I do presentations, you already see I'm crazy anyway. I bring my snake with me and stuff. That's Montgomery J. Python. No, when I do presentations, I don't do many slides. I like just to go ahead and let's see the real stuff. You know, I'm not a big slide person. So let's go ahead and go through some of these slides real quick and let's get out of here on this. So, overview, who I am, you know, you already heard that. Who and what is Map Forsyth? It's pretty cool. We'll go over that in just a second. A brief history of Python. Working with Python tips I've learned, and some cool projects with Python, and then it's playtime. All right, there's that bio. You already heard it. All right, Map Forsyth. We are a city-county department GIS office for Forsyth County, so we're incorporated Winston-Salem, all the municipalities. We do a lot of work with even the hospitals, nonprofits. Our county manager opened the door, so we do a lot of stuff for everybody else other than the city. Well, there's citizens too. Basically, we're just trying to get GIS together. You know how you have that big wall between city and county and stuff. Right now, we're still in the process of getting our data repository built. And it's going good. We've already got it built. We just got to start throwing data in there. And got to get that metadata. Brief history of Python. So my brief. Python was conceived in the 1980s, and its implementation began in December of 1989 by Guido van Rossum. And he wrote this in 1996, and you can tell he was at a Google conference there, drinking a good beer. He said, over to 6 years ago, in December of 1989, I was looking for a hobby programming project I could do during Christmas. I'm just going to not read the whole thing while out. But this was just a pet project for him. And believe it or not, Python language was named after Monty Python's Flying Circus. I think that is so cool. All right. Working with Python, tips I've learned. Well, you got to find, we had a good question in this last presentation. You got to find you a good IDE, a good environment to work with. I program probably in about 12 different languages. And so I like a good IDE. And I find PyScripter being free, and it does have some real good debugging abilities with it. To me, that's what I use. I mean, I'm a county employee. They ain't going to buy me much, so I'll go for the free stuff. Now, guys, when you start programming Python, I mean, this might be a simple thing, but you got to break it down into smaller parts. Some of my scripts, 2,000 lines long. Break it down. Break it into functions. Hey, I got that function right. Cool. Work on the next one. You know? And just Take your time. Start with Model Builder. Hey, if you're not really familiar with ArcPy or anything like that, build it in Model Builder. Granted, you might not be, you're not going to get everything you can out of it, but then export it to Python. Believe it or not. Guys, that's how I did it. And start reading what the code comes out. Now, it's going to add a bunch of other code and stuff like that, but it gives you the idea how that certain tool works. Take every little trick you got. Now, I'm not going to preach to the choir here, but documentation in your code. At least a third of my code is documentation. A third. You can never have too much documentation. I'm going to tell you right now. 2 years ago, I wrote one of these applications right here that we're going to see today on this thing. Guess what? They changed the database on me. Tax database. I got a friend over there. I got to say that to him. So, guess what? The whole thing crashed. It's about 1,500 lines of code. If I didn't have that documentation, I'd be like, what the heck did I do here? What did I do here? Plus, guys, got to remember something else, too, about documentation. Once you write something, who says you can't take out that function or good parts of the other code and reuse it? Always reuse code. I mean, I'm an old programmer. Back in the day, before we even had anything, my instructor always said, always reuse code. Don't ever write something over again. Now, unless you can fix it and make it work better. But always have your little snippets ready to go. We're talking about, like using the tool help and catalog. Hey, that's really good. It does show you the syntax. I'll tell you right now, it's about 50, the examples, I give them about 50%. Because there's a lot of stuff that can just lead you off. It's never going to do something that you really want to do, and you still got to try to figure it out. And the biggest one down there, Google search is your best friend. I'm telling you right now, there's very few things out there that people have wrote or at least give you the concept and the base code of something you're going to be doing. It's there. Now, coming up with the right Google search, to get the right what you really need, you got to practice with that. But Google search is your friend. I mean, you pull up videos, everything like that. And it really does help. Now, the thing about it is when I do Google search, my nickname in my office is General Wiki. Mainly because I write my own books. I'll find documentation out there, I'll add it to my scripts and everything else, and I'll make a book out of it. I mean, think about it. Einstein, you know what he said about a smart man? He said a smart man is not a man that knows everything. It's a man that knows where to find the answer. And you compile this stuff together, you got your answers right there. Now you got to make sure you save it in the same place that you know where everything else is at, because then you can lose that book. But, all right. Some cool projects with Python. Tons and tons and tons of automation scripts. I mean, that run every week. But you know what? It saves time. You get that script done right, it automates it, you're good. Now, all my automation scripts, I throw emails in there. I don't really like log files because I get tired of going, oh, God, look at this log file. Hey, it sends me an email if it works, sends me an email if it breaks. That's all I care about. I can go do a quick look. Okay, cool. We're doing a CAD NEMA. Anybody here with dressing? No. We have to do a lot of conversions to our address points and center lines. And we have too many systems running right now that uses address points and center lines. So basically what that is we're just going to be massaging the data and giving it the right export for emergency services. Here's some cool little scripts, guys. An ArcGIS server data dictionary. You know how many lines of code that was? 20. It goes out to the ArcGIS server, any server you want to put in your URL, and basically goes down and finds every service and gives you the URL for it. Then it goes down and gives you all the fields, what field types, and the length. Puts it in a nice little text file. It's a book. Because then you can sit there and go, man, what? I can't remember. You sit there going online trying to find it. Oh, there it is. So when you start writing stuff and you want to pull stuff from your rest, there it is, sitting right there. Same thing with the SDE dictionary. Hey, 20 lines of code. She mentioned about it, it's list. You go out, point it to an SDE, give it a connection file. It goes in and just starts ripping it all out, puts it into the dataset name, feature class, and then the fields for all that into a simple text file.
You have a feature connection to an SD data source.
Mm-hmm.
You might convert it to a direct connection from 1,000 map documents. Is there a way to get that data source from a three-tiered connection when you're going through your which feature data set is within each SE or to a direct connection?
Well, that's all I use is direct connections. That's all I use is direct connections.
50 users, more than that, different departments are all using three-tier connections that have to switch to a direct connection.
Yeah, because if you're going to move up to at least 10.3.1, you're going to have direct connect because applications don't work anymore. Application connections.
Through a series of map documents and change, is there a connection string in there with this?
There's a tool that will help you. Are you changing the SDE itself, or are you going and just changing the connections itself?
Upgrading the SE to
Okay. There is a tool, I don't know the name of it, but you can do a quick search for it that will help you fix your MXDs and give you the new connections to all your data. It's about 90%, but okay, if you got some big MXDs, it'll get you at least on the start. Okay, here's some stuff that is not GIS, but is cool. How about a Google spreadsheet grabber? Goes out there. We don't have a work order system. Can't buy one yet. So we put everything in a Google sheet for all our work system, or work orders. My boss, in his wonderful wisdom, wants reports. He wants graphs. So I got to go out there. I wrote a script that goes out to Google Sheets, grabs the sheet, grabs all the data, grabs it and throws it into basically a SQL database. And then I'm pulling it out using, PyPlotLab and make my graphs and stuff. And then probably turn it into a PDF. But go out there and, people give you all these Google spreadsheets. We're a Google county. Sorry, our county is Google. So we use Google spreadsheets for everything. Have the ability to go out there and grab the data from it. Guys, it's not hard. Just start looking. Hey, Google search. It's not hard. Gives you some ideas now. Google Analytics. Same thing. Go out there, grab the analytics. We have our big GIS website that we host. Well, we run Google Analytics on it because we're not up to 10.5 yet and we can't get it off server. So he wants that data. I don't want to go out there and cut and paste it. I want the data so you can build it. Do the same thing. Like this, I talked to the ISRI guys today about this. This is an ArcGIS Online analytic grabber. Same thing. It goes on ArcGIS Online, our account, grabs all the analytics off our web apps and our open data sources. Brings it in, saves it into a database, and then I'm set up what I want to play with it. Now, I'm going to be showing you the sign collector manager, which is using wxPython. And I got to give thanks to Eric Pimpler. He had a couple quick webinars on this that got my taste to it. And I'm like a tick. You give me something going, I will dig in and find out how to do it. And our tax property searcher using wxPython. And how many times people out there that you get a department that comes up to you and says, hey, we bought this cool tool. It doesn't do GIS, but we want to make it do GIS. spike sign ordnance collector. It's cool. It is a cool tool. It has a laser adapter on the back of it. Takes an image of the sign, gives you a bunch of stuff with it. You can draw the dimensions on it. Gives you that long. That's all the GIS there is. The XML goes to 100, oh no, I don't say 100, but about 20 generations. So Python XML can't even read it. I turn it to a JSON and bring it in that way. But then you get this product form. So there's just some ideas. Hey, it's playtime. All right, we got an urban ag project we've done to show all the suitable agricultural for Winston-Salem. This thing is 17 processes long to get all this data in, basically building multiple features, using that data, cutting it up more, and everything else. It took our analyst about 5 hours to come up with this, and even using his processes to model builder, which couldn't do everything because I had to bring tax data in this too. It took about 2 hours to run because it does so much generation. Mine takes 68 minutes. It has to be done every week. Starts off, what it likes to do is I build, here's basically a PyScripter, and you want to see documentation. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. This is just way too much for one session. But I can show you all that nice, beautiful green is my documentation. So basically the process is I build a file G database, throw all the data that's outside that I don't have to generate into it so I can keep everything isolated so I don't make a mistake and mess up something on SDE, work it all out, build all these new features, and then export these 4 features that they need. But the good thing about it is after you build it one time, the first thing it does, it deletes everything. Gets rid of everything, so there's no trail on it. Deletes that file G database, deletes any feature or any document that's outside that, and just runs. Like I said, I'm not going to get you born with code and stuff, but it is really essential. This is the reason I want to bring that up. It is really essential to document your stuff. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, when it's fresh in your mind, do it. Don't wait a couple months and go, dang, what did I do there? And you can see, I do beginning times and ending times, and I send an email and everything else because there's my email library right there. But document. And I hate to admit, I document so if I get hit by a bus, somebody can figure it out. Now, let's see.
What about you yourself a month later?
How about 2 years later? I did figure it out. Now, granted, and the good thing about it is, I looked at it and I went, I've learned some new stuff. I can make that procedure a lot better. You always do that. Then you've got it. Now, this is a cool little play toy here. It's called the Sign Collector Manager. How many people out here use Collector, ArcGIS Collector? Okay, this is set up for your manager. No ArcGIS license, no map, but it gives them what is going on out there. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. I'll be able to explain it a lot easier that way. And you're down here. There it is. Guys, that's written in Python. That's called wxPython. What it's going to do right now, it just goes out and queries the rest. But what's really cool about it too, when I query the rest and bring the data back, I also bring back the attachments and convert it into the photos. So we'll just do a simple query, because this is live. We'll just do other. And hopefully y'all don't have to get a drink before this brings it back in, but give it just a couple more seconds. Wake up.
That was easy.
All right. Here's by that criteria it brought us back. This is all REST service. This is all done from Collector. So we click on one. Okay, there it is. Gives you back the data, what they were collecting out there. Then, if there's multiple images, which there's not supposed to be, but there is, I have the ability to show you all the images from there. Then, let's go see it on the map. Boss goes, I want to see this on the map, where this is at. Oh, there it is. Guess what? No license used whatsoever from Esri. I do not use the REST API. This is all Python. Every bit of this is Python. See, that's what my shop loves. We do open source too. Anything we can do free, let's do it. Now, this was written in Web App Builder, the local version. So it's running off our server. So guess what? I don't have to go on our JS line and use that. And I'm going to figure out a report here. Now, this thing will print everything that came back in the list view, or let's go ahead and just say the selected one, give it a name, and boom, there's your report. Shows every sign and all the pictures. Simple. Guys, it's not that hard. It gives you a good idea of what's going on. Now, let's go show you another one real quick. It was really fun. Now, I wrote this one a couple years ago. This is the one that gave me the headache because the tax database changed. All right. This is called just Property Searcher. I've got an autocomplete REST service there. So let's go ahead and look up my boss, see what he owns. I'm going to go ahead and start typing Mr. Joseph Sloop. We do a search. There he is. Click on it. There's his house. There's all the requirements for tax. Hey, there's his house. And there's his sketch. Same thing here. You can do a PDF report. Brings it in. This is all Python, guys. This is no other language. Then here comes the monster. This is what we call GData Explorer. This is our county site. Basically, you click on that, and there you go. It takes you to our county website. That's where his house is at. Simple project, but you know what? Hey, it gives you a lot of cred when you go, people don't know how to do stuff, and they look at that and they go, dang, you can do that? Let me give you another project. Now, this is the fun part. I built it. Now, you got to have a license for this. I built it as an add-in, Python add-in. You're a mapper, cartographer, whatever you want to call yourself. And you're sitting there and you need to know, gosh, I need to know just some tax value or who the owner is and stuff. Basically, we'll just select the property, boom. Make sure I hit the right one. I'm working on land use next. Work for me. There you go. Same data, just picking up what was selected on the map. So you use ArcPyMap, and you get that stuff off of that. Still has the wonderful features of going to opening up the big windows. Same thing, if you want to go see it on Geodata Explorer, you can hit that button. But I played with this lately, and I added something to the PDF. That right there. Guys, you can see that happen on the map. I did 6 different things. I turned on layers. I zoomed to a location, took the image, grabbed the image, came back to the original scale of that image, turned off the other layer. It was that quick, no one saw it. We can do it again. You ready for a flicker? You ready to get ready for a flicker? You ready? Whoop. See, that's the problem. I'm sorry, this thing is so big and we got so little screen. But try to look down there at the map part. And see, it's back to where it was. Now, I do have those layers. I got to shut the Python off. I mean, the PDF off or it'll crash. You can see, there's my orthos. Never touched them. It's back to the same exact spot, but you know that image was close. Guys, you can do all this stuff. I call it a dog and pony show. Learn your Python. Build on it. You're always building on Python. To me, I thought when I first started doing it in 2006, I thought it was just this cheesy little script language. No, it is a very, very strong language. GIS for open source, everybody uses it, let alone for other things. I'm probably about time up, ain't it? I got a little about a minute. But I don't have to show that because she had that there for that. But guys, any questions? Yes?
The Google Sheet Grabber, are you using like sheets that are publicly viewed?
No. They're secured. There's a little trick to that.
Yeah.
I don't have much time. I'll tell you right after this class. Anybody else?
Our GIS online application analytics.
Uh-huh.
All those applications have to be running on your server, or can they be running?
They're not running on ArcGIS Online.
Okay.
I'm grabbing it off ArcGIS Online. If you want to know how to do it, I'll tell you after this meeting, this group, because we don't have time. It's real simple. When I was talking to the Israel guys, they were like, that really works, don't it? Yes, sir. We're going to start diving in the grass heavily coming up because we want to start playing with more LiDAR and everything. But my boss has said as soon as I got some time, I can start to go ahead and do wxPython. So we can really work out some tools. But guess what? Learn the foundation of Python, guys. It's real easy. The hardest thing about Python is, oh man, I got to make spaces over, so I'm doing a loop. Or I'm a procedure. It's like old COBOL. You got to move over the spaces and have the right spaces over. But any other questions? Cool.
Thank you.